Welcome back, dear students. In today's session, I'm going to give you the line-by-line explanation of Macbeth Act 1, Scene 4. What is the dramatic significance of this scene? I'll give you some points, some very important points. Jot them down in your notebook and use these points in order to write long answer questions or short answer questions. What is the dramatic significance of this scene? Point number 1, this scene directly helps the action of the play. How? The nomination of Malcolm as Duncan's successor places an effective barrier between Macbeth and throne. What is the meaning of this? Inwardly, Macbeth yearns for kingship. He wants to be the king of Scotland. But when King Duncan proclaims Malcolm as his successor, Macbeth thinks that this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be a barrier, and therefore naturally provides him with the urge for direct action against Duncan. This is point number 1. Now point number 2. The king's sudden resolution to enjoy the hospitality of Macbeth in his castle at Inverness is the first of a series of lucky accidents which show that for the present the gods are on Macbeth's side. Luckily, Macbeth will get a golden opportunity to commit regicide. Now this is another new word. What is regicide? Regicide means the killing of a king. The king is supposed to be the representative of God on earth, and if someone commits regicide, then this is not at all good for the kingdom, for people. And here Macbeth will soon take direct action against King Duncan. So this is another important point. And the third significance of this scene is, the scene is a fine study in contrast. We will see many contrasts, differences in this scene. And what are the differences? Duncan's frank appreciation of Macbeth's heroism. Duncan is openly appreciating Macbeth's bravery. He is grateful to Macbeth and he also trusts Macbeth. And Duncan's frank appreciation of Macbeth's heroism, his simple gratitude, his trustful nature are set off against the treachery of Macbeth. Macbeth is inwardly contemplating, thinking about regicide. He is going to hatch a conspiracy against King Duncan. And this scene suggests the natural order that is about to be violated. King Duncan is the legal king, and he has proclaimed his heir, his successor, but Macbeth is going to violate that order, the natural order. And lastly, we have dramatic irony in this scene. We will discuss dramatic irony, use of dramatic irony in Act 1, Scene 4 gradually as we proceed. So this is the introduction. I hope you have copied down these points. Use them effectively while answering questions from this scene. Now let us begin the easy explanation. Flourish. The stage direction, flourish. The sounding of trumpets when any person of distinction, here it is King Duncan, approaches. Duncan, is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned? So King Duncan wants to know if Cawdor, the Thane of Cawdor, the treacherous Thane of Cawdor has been beheaded. Execution is capital punishment. The word done means carried out. King Duncan wants to know if Cawdor has been executed, if Cawdor has been punished. Are not those in commission yet returned? What is the meaning of commission? In commission. Specially charged and authorized to carry out the execution, and commission is the technical legal term for the document which delegates authority, especially of the king, to another. The king has given some people the charge to execute order, and he wants to know if they have successfully executed order and if they have returned. So, Malcolm, my liege, sovereign lord to whom allegiance is due, the sovereign lord to whom everyone must pay, must show their reverence, their respect. My lord, they haven't come back. They are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die. Malcolm informs King Duncan that he has met someone who saw the Thane of Cawdor being executed. Who did report? And that person reported that very frankly he confessed his treasons. Frankly, he openly, without any attempt at disguise, he confessed his treasons, his several acts of treason. I implored your highness's pardon and set forth a deep repentance. According to the gentleman's report, the Thane of Cawdor frankly confessed that he has been treacherous to your majesty. He has been treacherous to King Duncan, and he has begged King Duncan's forgiveness and expressed a sincere repentance. So before his death, he was really repenting. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death. Now, in his life, what is the meaning of nothing in his life? Nothing that he has done during the whole of his life became him, was more creditable to him than. So here, Malcolm tells that the gentleman reported that Cawdor was fully prepared for his death. He had fully prepared himself for his death. He was ready to die, to throw away his life as if it was a worthless thing. To throw away the dearest thing he owed as it were a careless trifle. So here, Malcolm is describing how Cawdor faced death. Cawdor faced his death nobly. Nothing that he had done during his life was as gracious as the manner with which he took leave of it. He was perfectly calm and resigned at the last moment. He had prepared himself to die without regret, to throw away the most valuable thing he possessed. And what do you think is the most valuable thing he possessed? Yes, definitely his life. As if it was of no more importance than a mere trifle. What is a trifle? An insignificant thing, a petty thing. There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Now the entire section is important. And this speech delivered by Duncan is important. To judge from the expression on a man's face what is passing in his mind, there is no skill to judge that properly. To interpret a man's thoughts by his looks. And here we have irony. The figure of speech is irony. And the irony of the speech is brought out by the immediate entrance of Macbeth. Mind's construction, intentions of the mind. The ironic note is emphasized by Macbeth's immediate entrance, and Macbeth's face gave as little indication of the construction of his mind. King Duncan is unable to gauge, to know Macbeth's evil intentions, Macbeth's thoughts. So the entire thing is ironical. There is no art to find the mind's construction. We cannot discover what a man is thinking by just looking in his face. The Thane of Cawdor was a gentleman in whom I had full trust. I had absolute confidence. And ironically, Macbeth is also going to betray King Duncan, and King Duncan is completely unaware of this. Duncan, O worthiest cousin. So when he addresses Macbeth as his worthiest cousin, we have irony once again. O worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. So just a little while ago, I clearly explained to you that King Duncan is grateful to Macbeth for his bravery. And here he is exaggerating. This is an example of hyperbole. He is exaggerating. He is so grateful that he is unable to control his happiness. And throughout this play, Shakespeare makes a splendid use of what is known as tragic irony, which consists in putting into the mouth of a speaker double-edged phrases of which the hidden meaning is only apparent to the spectators. So, in the present case, Duncan does not know, but the audience knows that his condemnation of Cawdor is just as applicable to Macbeth. He is condemning Cawdor here. He wants to know if Cawdor is executed or not. But Duncan is unaware of the fact that Macbeth also deserves such condemnation, because he is also inwardly planning something wrong against the king. So this is tragic irony. After this, Duncan says that the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. He is feeling very sad. He is feeling distressed at not being able to reward Macbeth as well as he deserved. Sin of my ingratitude. More dramatic irony. The language borders on the hyperbole, exaggerating. He is exaggerating. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow. Your services to me and to my people are so great that however lavishly I might reward you for them, it would fall far short of your deserving. Swiftest wing of recompense. Reward moving as fast as it can. Is slow, is too slow. So here he is sad because he is unable to thank Macbeth adequately for all that Macbeth has done for him, and this has been making King Duncan feel very sad, uneasy. He says that Macbeth is so far ahead with his services that gratitude can never catch up with them. And he wishes Macbeth had deserved less so that it were possible for King Duncan to reward Macbeth more than he deserved. Now all that he can say is that Macbeth deserves much more than he can ever pay. The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. So here Macbeth is restrained in his proclamation of loyalty and dutifulness towards King Duncan. Your Highness's part is to receive our duties. It is not your duty to pay us. It is our duty to serve you. And our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants. What do you think? Is Macbeth truthful to King Duncan? I leave this up to you. Which do but what they should by doing everything safe toward your love and honor. The entire speech delivered by Macbeth is an example of dramatic irony. The service and loyalty I owe in doing it. Your Majesty, I owe you my services and my loyalty, and in discharging my duty to you, I feel myself amply rewarded. As a king, you are only required to accept our services, and as your loyal subjects, our duty is to obey and serve you as children obey their parents and servants their masters. We owe you love and honor, and in ensuring your safety, we are only discharging our obligations. We are only discharging our moral obligations. So this word safe again is ironical, tragic irony. The audience now know that Macbeth is not telling the truth. He is hiding his real intentions, but King Duncan is unaware of the construction of Macbeth's mind's construction. Remember? So here Macbeth is pretending to be loyal. He is pretending to be dutiful. Duncan, welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee and will labor to make thee full of growing. And then he turns to noble Banquo. Noble Banquo, that hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart. So he appreciates the services of noble Banquo as well. I have begun to plant thee. Here we have the plant metaphor. I have begun. That is by conferring the thane of I have begun to plant thee. Here we have the plant metaphor. What is the meaning of the word begun? That is, by conferring the thainship of Cawdor on you, I have set up the foundation of your greatness. From now on, Macbeth, you will be the great thane of Cawdor, and will labor to make thee full of growing, promote you to greater dignities. The plant metaphor is kept up, and here we have more irony. Now, Macbeth's greatness is watered by Duncan's blood, and Macbeth will grow by shedding Duncan's blood. So again, tragic irony. Now you must understand this concept of the use of tragic irony in this scene. In fact, throughout the play we have instances of tragic irony, we have dramatic irony. And I have already discussed that King Duncan also here appreciates Banquo's efforts. Noble Banquo, you have deserved much, and we shall suitably acknowledge your services also. Meanwhile, let me embrace you and hold you close to my heart. There if I grow, the harvest is your own. So if I grow in your love and confidence like a plant, all the fruit I bear will be for you. Here Banquo continues the plant metaphor, and he replies in a very simple and direct manner. Any dignity that I might attain will be employed to your advantage. However great it may please you to make me, my greatness will only add to your glory. And what is the meaning of harvest? Results. Duncan, my plenteous joys wanton in fullness, I am overcome with such an exuberance of joy, excess of joy at meeting you, Macbeth and Banquo, who have saved my country and my honor, that my emotions of pleasure are rioting in excess. They are fighting with each other in excess, and they would fain express themselves in tears that ordinarily indicate sorrow. My great joy, almost uncontrollable in its excessiveness, hides itself in tears. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland. Who is the Prince of Cumberland? Who is going to be the Prince of Cumberland? Malcolm, the eldest son of King Duncan. MCQ. Which honor must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers, from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you. Learn this. Learn the paraphrase of this section. What is King Duncan's proclamation? He proclaims let it be known to all that we are making our eldest son Malcolm our heir, our successor, and henceforth he will be known as the Prince of Cumberland. But he is not going to be honored alone. Other honors will shine like stars on all those who deserve them. To Macbeth, we now intend going to Inverness. Here, he is addressing Macbeth. He tells Macbeth that he intends to go to Inverness, Macbeth's palace, where the bond of affection between them will become even stronger. Bind us further to you, bond of affection. He wants to enjoy the hospitality, the friendship of Macbeth. And this is going to be the reason for his downfall, for his death. He is giving a golden opportunity to Macbeth. This shows the inability of King Duncan to judge the real intentions of Macbeth. This nomination confirms Macbeth in his murderous designs, and Duncan invites himself to Macbeth's place. The rest is labor which is not used for you. Other duties would be laborious to me if they are not employed only in your service. So I am extremely happy to obey all your wishes, King Duncan. Here Macbeth is again pretending. He is lying. He is hiding his real intentions. I will be myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearing of my wife. For the first time we get to know that Macbeth has a wife. With your approach so humbly take my leave. So here Macbeth says that I shall myself go before you and convey to my wife the happy news of your intended visit to us. Let me humbly take leave of you, King Duncan. Macbeth is so humble in front of King Duncan. King Duncan is completely mistaken in his judgment of Macbeth's character. Duncan, my worthy cawdor. Again, ironical, dramatic irony, tragic irony. He calls Macbeth my worthy cawdor. The first cawdor was a traitor, and Macbeth also will prove to be a traitor. And how can a traitor be worthy? Duncan's faulty judgment. Macbeth aside. In the previous video, I had given you the definition of aside. Once again, the definition is there on the screen. Have a look. The character speaks and we get to know the feelings, the thoughts of the character. Here we get to know the thoughts of Macbeth. As the spectators, as the audience, we get to know what the character, what Macbeth is thinking. The Prince of Cumberland, that is a step on which I must fall down or else overlap, for in my way it lies. This is an obstacle. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. Very important. The eye wink at the hand. You let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see. Very important. So what do you think are the feelings of Macbeth? Again, you may get a question here. What are the feelings of Macbeth? So learn these important speeches very well. This nomination of Malcolm as the successor to the throne is a new obstacle in the path of Macbeth's ambitions. Either this obstacle will thwart Macbeth in his plans completely, or else he will have to surmount it. Either he shall perish in the attempt to capture the throne, or he shall thrust aside Malcolm's claims. This means that he will take direct action against King Duncan. So, directly he reveals his intentions. For in my way it lies, it blocks my path to the throne. This nomination prevents me from becoming the king. This is an obstacle to my ambitions. Very important. The eye wink at the hand. So, what are his feelings? He is urging the stars to put out the light. Cease to shine. This does not imply that the scene took place at night. Macbeth is seized with horrible imaginings. He almost anticipates in fancy the actual scene when he would murder Duncan, a scene which is to take place at night according to his plans. So he does not want any light, any kind of light, daylight, moonlight, or even starlight. He wants complete darkness. And the eye wink at the hand. Let my eye close itself in order not to see what my hand will be doing. What will his hand do? His hand will kill King Duncan. So he does not want his eye to see that. Let his eye be blind to the deeds done by his hand. He cannot stand the sight of the foul deed, which the eye fears when it is done to see. True, worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Yes, noble Banquo, he is really as brave as you have just been saying and praising his valor. His bravery gives me great satisfaction. His praise is like a feast to me. Let's after him, let us follow him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. And he is so anxious to give us a befitting welcome that he has already gone before us to make suitable preparations. It is a peerless kinsman. He is a matchless relative of ours. Again, irony, tragic irony. The audience know Macbeth's evil intentions, but King Duncan is completely unaware of any wrong that is going to happen to him. Flourish, and the characters exhumed. Dear students, this is the end of today's session. And this is a brief scene, but a very significant scene, because this is going to take the action of the play forward.